Well, listen to that movie soundtrack type of music, right?
Oh, it for sure feels like a crescendo.
It does. It sounds like something really amazing is about to happen with the protagonist, the leading man or the leading woman. No, you can't turn it down yet.
I think your hearing has, I don't know, gotten worse and mine's gotten sensitive.
Perhaps. Maybe I talked to my doctor about that and you talk to your doctor about that, right? Like, I'll say, hey, I'm losing my hearing, and Jen will talk to her doctor about, yeah, my husband seems to sneeze louder now than he used to.
That was a conversation we had yesterday.
But why am I playing like music theme soundtrack stuff?
It's the Golden Globes tonight.
It is the Golden Globes.
Do you
tonight.
remember when we were super cool Hollywood, like a young couple? We used to go to the Golden Globe parties that started at like 9 or 10 at night, and they went to like 3 a.m. We used to do that.
Well, the Golden Globes, for people that have not gone to it, are pretty awesome in the way that, first of all, the Golden Globes are sort of weird because it is a weird voting group of people that most people don't really know why they have such power to vote the way they do. But, you know, it's...
I like the Globes. Don't knock them.
No. But it's gone through a lot of controversy over like who the Hollywood foreign press is and how they get paid off and all that stuff. And there's been corruption. It's almost like the FIFA of Hollywood,
okay,
right?
Well, I don't want to talk about that.
But
I
no.
like the
But
Golden
listen,
Globes.
really quick. But it's supposedly gone through its reset, and now people are feeling okay about it. Now, on top of it, too, there was a lot of... I think there was like Me Too issues. They were like, you know, it was mostly a white judging thing.
Right.
Like,
so
and
then the pendulum swung and it went very diverse. And now.
And then they took it off the air for a while,
they
right?
Did?
Yeah. There were a couple years, I think, without it.
Sure.
So now it's back. And I think what people love about it, and I think the few times, well, the times when we went together, like you actually have this incredible sort of starts at 5 o'clock, which is always nice for us, right? Like, and the event is filled with alcohol. There's viewing parties throughout the hotel too. It's
and
at
you're
the
dressed
Beverly
black tie.
Yeah, it's at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Literally every suite at the Beverly Hilton Hotel is set up for parties by different studios. So when the thing wraps up, say if you're lucky, it goes from 5 to 8 Pacific, then 8 o'clock, the parties start, and you don't have to go anywhere.
Well, I feel like we always started the parties around 9 or 10. I don't know why.
That's because they usually run late, you know, and the speeches are long and all that kind of stuff. I think it will be really interesting. And, you know, we're doing this on a Sunday evening under an incredible California sunset. I think all of California.
Stunning.
I saw people in San Francisco commenting on the sunset last night. So I think this is a whole West Coast crazy offshore flow, high pressure system, unbelievably orange sunset.
Oh my God. Like God has shined his rays on us, and it is pretty magnificent.
Yes. So apologies to the people experiencing winter in the 347 cities around the world that we're in.
I like that plug that you just did.
Well,
including our son. Our son said it snowed last night.
Yeah, he said it snowed a lot in Montreal.
Yeah, but it's like 72 here. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, and I would argue out of the 34 nations that we're now in, we added one from our
in one show we added
yes,
two.
our 2026.
Where?
I think it's Kazakhstan or something. Some
is
Russian.
Is that Borat?
Oh my God, maybe it is Borat. How cool would that be?
That'd be super cool if Borat was listening.
Well, shout out to Sacha Baron Cohen if that's your relatives over there listening to us.
Thank you.
I feel like we should get some of that Borat theme music on here.
I can't place it in my head, but I can kind of place it in my head, right? Like it's one of those like menopausal things where you can't really remember it and it's on the tip of your tongue.
Exactly. Well, so we do have, I guess the Golden Globes are tonight, and
we watched some of the movies. We didn't watch all of them. Some years were better than others.
Well, I think it's actually a little it's a little upsetting when I look at how few of the nominated pictures, because we went out of our way to watch the Eddingtons and the Life of Chucks and the.
Okay, Eddington was weird.
I mean,
look, I'm not a movie critic, so if you liked it, then please don't dislike this podcast or don't stop listening, but it was weird. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix was great in it. It was just weird. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Well, I will say that hey, look, I'm doing a podcast as the chief engineer of this thing for our Empty
You could
Nestle
add that
podcast.
to your CV.
But what's interesting is my technology savvy self has not figured out exactly how to do the screen share because in the days when you're voting,
when you're voting, CDs.
Yeah, as a voter, you get you get the DVDs in the mail.
DVDs, that's right.
And they were super skeptical about like what you're going to do with them. You can't throw them away. You got to destroy them.
Do you remember the packaging?
Can't share them.
It was like Christmas every single day, multiple packages. They were all beautifully wrapped, and they had they were in great encasements.
Oh my God. Like Netflix, when they started sending them out, it was incredible. You would get just piles and piles and the Golden Globes are both for television and film.
Which is probably why I like it, and it doesn't feel as stuffy as the Oscars.
Yeah, but you would just get, and by the way, I'm not a voter for the Golden Globes, but you would still, because as an Emmy voter and a Producers Guild voter and blah, blah, blah.
Is that
you
a
get
humble
all the
brag?
No, but you get all the film. No, I've said I'm not an Academy Award voter.
I know, but you did do like a little bit of like, I'm a producer. I'm part of the PGA.
You know what? I'm 54 years old. I've been in the entertainment business my whole life. Like, I hope I get to vote on some stuff. For heaven's sakes, like, it would be crazy.
That's
if I wasn't.
validating for you.
Yes, but between the Emmys and the film stuff, we would have piles of closets filled with it, and you would be like so upset.
Remember when we moved, there was so many of those, and we didn't even know what to do with them, right? Because you were scared that if you threw them out, somebody would go through the trash, and we were always told that it was like burned with your name, so you'd be able to trace back that this was Chris Fenton's DVD that has gone pirated. I don't know. It was an issue. You couldn't just throw it away.
They had all kinds of crazy warnings, like if you ever shared one of these DVDs with someone. Now, also keep in mind, this was back when, I'm talking about like 5 years ago or whatever it was, but you also had the fact that most of these movies you couldn't watch them anywhere. You could only see them in theaters. And a lot of times, for people that aren't in the business, to qualify for a Golden Globe or to qualify for an Academy Award, a lot of times people want that fresh in the mind movie release, so that all the big movies that they think are in that category of being nominated are released towards the end of the year. And a lot of them are released like just in, say, 15 theaters or something. So you pretty much have to be in LA and New York to see it before the end of the year. And then they start to open up wider after the New Year's. And that allows them to qualify for these things. Well, what's interesting is, now in today's world, a lot of these movies are first run on streamers, right? Like on an Apple or on a Netflix or on an Amazon, or even more so. Wow, Julia Roberts looks really good.
Amazing. As Chris is talking, I'm going through online looking at the arrivals, and Julia Roberts looks stunning.
Wait a minute, she
looks amazing.
How old is she?
I don't know. I could look it up, but she looks
Look
good.
it up, because she actually looks younger than I do at 54. So, but I'm assuming she's in her 60s.
She's 58.
Oh, she's only 58?
Gosh, that woman.
I always thought she and Clooney were like the same age, but I guess not. Anyway, so you have this ability to see a lot of these movies at the same time that, say, voters are allowed to. Or if voters get to see it a little earlier with these screeners that they have access to with these like digital sort of security things that you can watch on your TV, you might be able to see it, say, maybe 2 weeks after that, because it plays briefly in a theater and then it goes right to a streaming service. So the specialness of being a voter isn't really all that cool anymore, because it's not all that exceptional. Oh, there's Timothy Chalamet.
I don't get it.
He won me over when he did College Football Game Day.
No, I know
he
that.
Actually knew what he
I
was
get
doing.
that. Dylan too. Like, who is this weirdo actor? He's kind of wayfish. He's not necessarily like Brad Pitt, beautiful, or Leonardo DiCaprio, really good looking. He's kind of quirky. He's kind of lanky. But when he went on that Sports Center and he did College Game Day, honestly, I remember like mouth agape. He was phenomenal with the amount of sports facts that he knew. He was like a savant. But I'm still looking at this picture, and I mean, he's dating Kylie Jenner.
Oh, really?
Oh, they've been together for a long time, and
So
she tends to go to a
she's
lot
the
of
breadwinner.
I mean, she.
I mean,
she
he
does
probably
really
makes $10 million a movie now, but she's probably the breadwinner.
100. I guess you're right, but like, he looks. I don't know. He's got some weird mustache going on. He's wearing. It doesn't look like a tuxedo. It almost looks like a velvet jacket with a black T-shirt. And he's wearing some necklace. I'm not the. And he's wearing some combat boots.
You know what?
I don't know. Is this
He
just
knows
too
his
cool?
audience. Like, think about it. The Golden Globes, like, everybody's got to look all Hollywood.
I
for
disagree.
that.
Look at Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well,
He
DiCaprio's
looks
always
handsome.
classic.
That's
yeah,
classic.
but he follows the Jack Nicholson sort of
Yes,
route,
he
right?
does.
Now, I will say, and by the way, Clooney always dresses
Oh,
classy
he
too.
is so handsome. Did I share my Clooney story?
Well, I was going to do the
Here?
cat litter story at some point, but I don't think it's appropriate for the Golden Globes night.
Should I do my Clooney story? Because it's actually a really like, woohoo! It's a humble brag for me.
Is it really? Well,
is.
well, one thing I was also going to say about Timothy Chalamet or Chalamet, or how do you say
Chalamet.
it? Is it Chalamet?
Chalamet. Mhm.
There is a video circulating which actually makes me think he's even cooler because although he's not that great, but anyway, he and Adam Sandler happened to be watching a high school game at Fairfax High School, which, by the way, if anybody lives in LA, Fairfax High School is sort of legendary. It's where a lot of the big athletes that came out of LA played, but more importantly, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers came from Fairfax High. I mean, there's a lot of interesting alums, but it's in a relatively tough part of town. It's I think it's lost its ways a little bit on the academic front. But anyway, Sandler and Chalamet were both there watching a high school game. And then I guess at halftime, they decided just to go play pickup ball with
that's cool.
a handful of guys. And they were handling their own pretty well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anyway, that's out there on the viral campaign if you want to look for that video.
Look at Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom looks good. He's kind of gone from he wasn't in The Hobbit. He was in Lord of the Rings, right? And Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and he was also, I mean, remember I went down to Sydney for Superman Returns and he was in that.
That's true. He's come into his own. He looks good.
He was a lot of fun to hang out with. Boy, he's quite the ladies' man, I got to say.
Well, he's been married a couple times.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a fun guy to hang out with.
He looks handsome.
Okay, so wait, you were going to tell a George Clooney thing, and
then we'll go on to something serious,
Okay.
I suppose. Here's my George Clooney story. It is definitely a humble brag. It was when you and it made me feel good. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I think you and I had just started dating. I was at the Sky Bar at the Mondrian, and I went up to, you're looking at me. We did things separate, even when we first started dating.
Yes, the Sky Bar at the Mondrian for
Was
people
the
that were,
place.
yeah. Then I would say the late '90s, early 2000s. There was a doorman there that essentially looked like Bono's doppelganger.
Uh-huh.
You had to know that dude. You got in, like, it was everybody who's anyone.
It was like the who's
at
who, for
Mondrian
sure.
Hotel.
So we all.
By the way, it was also very voyeuristic
because people would there's a pool and a courtyard in the middle of the hotel, and people would basically be intimate on their balconies outside.
They would specifically rent hotel rooms so they could get
have sex.
very intimate and let everybody watch. It was quite fascinating.
But okay, that is not what happened with Clooney. Although, so here's what happened. Went to Sky Bar. I went to the bar. I went to get a drink, and lo and behold, who is standing next to me at the bar? George Clooney. And we make eye contact. We start chit-chatting. He's like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" I let him buy me a drink. Stop it.
Do I really want to hear this story?
Stop it.
I think I should censor it.
Stop it.
Okay, go ahead.
So he buys me a drink. We're chit-chatting. And then he makes some comment like, "How old are you? I am old enough to be your father." And I thought to myself, that is true, but I'm still going to carry on this conversation. And we chatted a little more. And it was like, made me feel really good that I got hit on by George Clooney.
Do I do that? I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like I maybe do a combo of the
Wait, why are you
sad trombone
wine?
for me, because your eyes are all beaming with glee as you talk about George Clooney.
I got hit
Did you tell him,
on.
"Hey, by the way, I'm dating this guy, Chris Fenton"? And
Here's his
he was like, "Oh
business
my
card.
God, I know that dude. He's awesome." Anyway,
So that's my George Clooney story.
That's a pretty good humble brag.
That was a good humble brag.
I don't even know if it was all that humble. I think it was just a flat out brag.
I got hit on by George Clooney and he bought me a drink.
Okay, well, that George Clooney, speaking of which, is like a movie star. Like if he walked down the street, people would recognize him. He's well known. I don't think he's like gone, viral social media wise. Like he's legitimately a movie star and not like a brand of like commerciality, like say a Kardashian. So I respect that, sort of like a Leonardo DiCaprio. But one of the things that's interesting about today's world is the fact that I think a lot of these quote stars aren't even recognized by a lot of people. And then on top of it, I'm looking at, and this is, I'm not trying to dig on my own business, but I do wish Hollywood would promote things that more people see and more people gather around the water cooler and talk about. And I think we've talked about this before, but I'm just looking at the motion picture drama nominations of Golden Globes. Frankenstein, okay, Guillermo del Toro, love that filmmaker. He's fantastic. I haven't seen it yet, but I've
heard
imagine,
it's really good.
Yeah, and I think that's relatively mass appeal. The Hamnet movie, which is Chloe Zhao directed that. I think Spielberg's a producer on it. I don't know a lot of people that have seen that.
I don't either.
It was just an accident. I don't know anything about.
Who was in that?
Sentimental Value. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about that. Sinners, I saw.
You saw
in
Sinners
IMAX.
with the kids,
it was
right?
A fantastic work of art. I thought it was an interesting story. The filmmaker is beloved, as are the actors in there. I think it's got a real shot. And then Secret Agent is the other one for the dramas. And then in music and comedy, we just watched One Battle After Another the other night.
I have thoughts.
Okay, so we can talk about that. And what it's up against is Nouvelle Vague. I have no idea what that is.
Okay, question mark.
One Other Choice, or No Other Choice.
I don't know.
Marty Supreme, shout out, Timothy. And then Begonia, which is one of our favorite actors who's like not movie star looking, but we love from Friday Night Lights, Jesse Plemons.
Yep.
And then Blue Moon.
We've seen one of those.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
What about Jay Kelly, the George Clooney?
Oh, Blue Moon is Richard Linklater though. So like Linklater, shout out to Dazed and Confused, one of the few movies I've seen multiple times in a movie theater, if you can believe that. I loved that movie.
Yeah, you did.
Loved
it's one of your favorite.
It spoke to me. Just like what was it? Reality Bites.
Reality Bites? Mm-hmm.
They came out around the same time too.
My Sharona.
So anyway, you wanted to talk about One Battle After Another. Is that one of our
it's not one of our
serious topics?
It can be because
what's the other serious topic we're going to hit?
Well, do we
want to hit Iran?
Hit Iran? I don't
know.
I don't.
If we don't hit Iran, I guarantee some speeches will. I would hope.
I mean, and who knows? Our military might be hitting Iran, later tonight. I don't even know. Possibly. It's so freaking scary. I mean, maybe we just do it. Maybe we hold the Hollywood stuff because that's too inside baseball.
Well, no. Tell me about One Battle After Another, because that movie, enough people are going to go see because it is or have seen it. It's Leo. It's Benicio del Toro.
Uh-huh.
I mean, anytime Benicio del Toro's in something, you're just like, oh, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
And he's just such a interesting looking man. Like he's the world's most interesting man in a way.
Yes, a little bit.
And boy, does he have his demons. He's gone through all this crazy stuff. And what's interesting?
Do you think he's dark and dirty?
Oh, I think there's lots of stories out there about him, and why he is so interesting probably has to do with a lot of those demons and different things. What's interesting is that he does do a lot of movies with Leo because they both share the same manager their whole career.
I didn't know that, but now that I
Yorn.
think about it, they are in a ton of films together to some extent.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Actually, that Rick Yorn, the manager, he's his brothers Kevin Yorn, and then Pete Yorn, the musician, is their other brother. So anyway. Cool family.
One Battle After Another, it was unique. It's a little bit of an unsettling story. Leonardo doesn't play the typical heartthrob love. The movie really takes place in his sort of later life as a father to a teenager. Here's my problem with films, and we've touched upon it in other episodes. when did they become political? Because this is a political statement. This touches upon radicalism. This touches upon immigration. This touches upon, left and right, very much so. This touches upon, what are some of the other things it touches upon? Christianity and like very right, almost white supremacist Christian
Did you
views.
say immigration policy?
I did talk about immigration, yeah.
And I think
radicalism, I talked about that. But when did this become a thing? I watched Jake Kelly, that was the George Clooney movie, and it is not political at all. It is a great film. I liked it entirely more than I liked One Battle After Another. We've watched, what was something else that we watched? Oh, what was that
Life of Chuck?
Life of Chuck was great, not political at all. I just don't know when, and I understand that you have to touch upon it. This is society. Movies are about culture. They represent where we are in a particular time. They can be historical. They can be, a person's perspective. It is storytelling. So I'm not saying to do away with it. We're idolizing, we are celebrating, we are commending political statements that aren't unbiased. They are very biased. And how does that not bifurcate an audience even more than we're already bifurcated?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I thought it was sort of interesting that Paul Thomas Anderson
does not feel like a Paul Thomas Anderson film.
Yeah, well, when you think of Paul Thomas Anderson, you typically think of movies that involve...
They're a little quirky.
Yeah, and a lot of times they tend to involve Los Angeles too, right? Like they have that, like Magnolia or Boogie Nights or Licorice Pizza, like they take place in the Valley.
Yeah,
and this one I thought was going to be more LA, but it actually was, I believe San Diego and probably... say like Eureka, California, or maybe
something
Oregon
like
or something like that.
It was good enough. Don't get me wrong. And please don't shoot the messenger. This is just my opinion. I didn't love it. It was fine.
It was long. It was long.
No, you know what was long? Eddington.
Eddington was very long. Yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix.
You know what else was long? Avatar.
Avatar was too long. Avatar was spectacular, but it was too long.
It was long.
It was too long.
For me. I'm just, maybe my attention span because of my children, because of my, addiction to Instagram, because of the way I rot and I sit on the couch and I'm watching Real Housewives. I'm on my computer. I'm on Instagram. And again, I should probably say, I like to watch Real Housewives. I am not the critic who has the best taste in viewing habits. I'm putting it out there. It was just okay.
But here's my take on when we read those nominees. The thing that's bothersome to me is it does feel like it's just a self-congratulatory awards ceremony that we're expecting the rest of the country and the rest of the world to watch. Like, look at us, look what we did. You never saw this movie, but it's so much better than anything you've ever seen, and maybe it's over your head and that's why you haven't seen it. Like, that's not the way we should be as far as an entertainment community. We should be creating content for the masses and content that a lot of people feel is approachable and relevant and universal. Exactly. Now I get it. We can have very special niche films that tackle difficult subjects that are very specific in terms of the audience that they cater to, but these big award ceremonies that we're expecting to bring in large crowds of audience around the world to watch, the movies that are nominated should be the majority of the ones that are approachable to the masses, right? And then you have a handful maybe that are smaller and more niche, and maybe those are the ones that ultimately win. But, bring that fanfare, bring that excitement around the stars, the big intellectual property, the franchise, the stuff that's done well. Because let's face it, like Avatar 3 is not going to win. It
might win some visual or some technical award. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. It's not even on the list.
But I would say it's something that probably should be nominated, mainly because the artistic quality of making a film of that size was pretty unbelievable. Now although I gotta say, like, I think Paul Thomas Anderson's movie is gonna win, or is sort of Leo's
gonna
leader
win for sure.
Right. And would I say, oh, that was as good as some of the best picture movies I've seen in the past? Probably not. I mean, look at for instance, Gladiator with Russell Crowe. If we go back to like my old William Morris days, our William Morris days, where we went to Russell Crowe's party after that, which was one of the craziest things ever. That movie spoke to so many people. You know, it was really the underdog film. It was big. It was Ridley Scott making like an epic sweeping film, like the kind of stuff that everybody gets excited about. And Russell Crowe was just beyond awesome in it. And it made a lot of money. Like those are the ones that we should be rooting for, the ones that win these awards, because that draws people to the theaters. That draws people to the excitement and the splendor and the awesomeness that Hollywood can be. Anyway, that's my like little pitch there. So anyway, I'm hoping some of the bigger films do well tonight.
Well, me too. And I look forward to catching it because I won't be watching it live. I've got a dinner.
So let's just talk a little bit about Iran.
Well, I think, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's start it, and then maybe on the next podcast we can dive into it more, and we may even have some more information.
Well, it's going to be
this is not going away. Kind of like Venezuela, it's not going away. I am concerned. Mainly, I mean, I know you and I have different stances, and we're looking at this a little differently. But I'm concerned about retaliation. You mean
the U.S. going into Iran?
No, if the U.S. goes into Iran, I am very worried about what that looks like for us and for our allies. Like, will Iran congregate their allies and go after Israel? Will Iran come after us? And maybe it's ships in the sea. Maybe it's, as I mentioned, Israel. Maybe we're going to see it in oil prices. Maybe they come after us and they do some sort of like, I don't know, attack on our like technology and our web. I don't know, like on our grids, our environment, or like our energy grids. I'm worried. We're going to see this in the stock market 100% tomorrow. We're going to wake up and I think there's going to be all over the place.
Yeah. Although I don't.
You don't think you're going to see it? You don't think there's going to be some sort of like
first of all, the
rebound?
stock market seems to just thrive on more chaos in the world, and the end of the world seems to be a great buy-in opportunity for some reason. But anyway, that's aside the point. Like, I would say since the October 7 tragedy in Israel, which was October 7, 23, 24. Why am is it?
I think it's 23.
Anyway, since that episode, we have like really, really destroyed the capabilities of obviously Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen.
But they're pissed at us.
Yes.
And what's not to say, your enemy is my enemy, so let's all have a common enemy and fuck the U.S.
No, and in that process, we probably further radicalized a lot of people.
Yes.
And we know that ISIS and Al-Qaeda is
still very
obviously
active.
Still out there. It's a dangerous world. You know, the question is like what kind of capabilities they have to get across their shores or their borders and terrorize allies of ours or even us. Like that's a big question. Although I will also say that the Iranian revolution does seem like if there is a time that has a chance to overthrow that tyranny of a government, like now is the time.
Okay, but to that point, I'm going to use the kids. I'm going to pull it back, right? You're a parent and you see your kids fighting, or you see your kids fighting with other kids. It's totally inappropriate for you to go in sometimes and take over control. You want the kids to figure it out on their own. Us going in is a little paternalistic and authoritarian. Like, what gives us the right to do that?
Yeah, well, okay. So there's a lot of over our head, out of our lane, probably explanations to that question. But like, I'll really dumb it down into a place where I know, which is number one, we know we have decimated their or really hindered their nuclear capabilities. We've definitely have a very strong ability to essentially paralyze their communication systems and various other things that would make them able to essentially defend themselves against any sort of, air attack or whatever we want to do. But then on top of it, if you look at the chessboard of, say, this game of Risk, or what's the game that Dylan likes? What's it called? Catan. China is a big, that's something we have to really pay attention to, which is China, Beijing in particular. The Chinese people we're fine with, but once again, it's sort of like Iran. We're fine with the Iranian people, but it's the government there and the people that are involved with that government that we have a real issue with, and the allies of that particular government have created havoc around the world. Same thing with China, like Beijing. They're a major, we call them one of our 4 foreign adversaries. Iran and China are both there. If we look at the strategic play here, Iran represents 25 to 30% of the oil on a daily basis that China consumes. Their exports to China are crucial for China's supply chain resource need for energy. Venezuela is only 4%. Like, there's been a lot of talk about how hurting Venezuela is going to hurt China because of oil. No, not really. It's 4%. It's not that big. You can replace 4%. 25 to 30%?
No dice.
Much bigger issue. China's biggest suppliers are Iran and also, are Russia and the KSA, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Iran's right behind them. So chessboard, it's an interesting one.
Sure, I understand that. I'm just, from a very human perspective, I'm concerned. I'm trying to understand it. It feels like it is out of our lane. Although when you explain the strategy in terms of that, it makes sense. But what gives us the right? It just feels like I'm better than you and you suck. Like, that's kind of
I think it also, to me, is like, we got to get our shit together here in the United States of America.
Right? It feels like a distraction.
No, I know. And we're not going to get into the politics around what happened in Minnesota with ICE or even the Somalian situation there, or various other things that are happening just top of mind in the current climate. But there's just a lot of problems here that we have in the U.S. There's a lot of bifurcation of this nation between red and blue and purple and everybody else, and everybody's hating on each other. And that's just not the way the United States of America, the melting pot that we're supposed to be, should be operating. So this idea of distracting, curing some of those challenges, curing some of those big issues, those problems through war is,
I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, and it's also spending a lot of money that we don't really have.
Oh,
we have a big deficit.
I actually didn't even think about that. I didn't. Oh, this is such a disaster. I feel like the end of the world is happening. Like, in my head, it's the end of the world as we know it.
Well, the
other
thing
that's what song is playing on repeat in my head right now.
Yeah, but the other thing, when you think about it, remember we were listening to a great podcast called Three Homeless Guys.
Yes.
Joel Pollack from the New York Post, Breitbart, and 2 others that lost houses in the Palisades during the fire a year ago. They talked about how absolutely terribly tragic that was for their community. Yet the upside of watching a community rally together to try to rebuild, to try to organize that rebuild, to try to organize staying together as a community, it went past the borders of a red or a blue or a Trump voter or a Biden voter or whatever it was. Like, people didn't care about political affiliations. They cared about coming together on a common cause. And you could argue that some sort of a war or a conflict would potentially bring us together as Americans, but I don't know. I don't know if this is one that would. So I just, I think about the LA earthquake in 1994. I mean, we all gathered in the middle of the intersection of Ohio and Veteran and Westwood because
we were at the epicenter.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, you guys were out in the valley, but like, everybody got together, was listening to each other's radios to hear what was happening, brought out water, food, whatever it was, rich, poor, black, Republican, Democrat, Somalians to Irish people, whatever it was. Like, we were all in it together, like great common bond that was created by a tragedy. So sometimes rallying around a flag does that, but I just don't know if this is
We've had a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm never rooting for war, put it that way.
No, I'm not either.
Well, especially our kids, by the way, they're
serving
draft age.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that just puts even more of an emphasis on we need peace in the Middle East.
No pun.
But I do think the Iranian people do have a right to have a new government.
I agree. I just don't know if it's our right as the U.S. to go in and take it over and tell them how to run it.
That I would agree with.
That's my qualm.
Yeah.
That's my concern, with a whole slew of reasons and ramifications that could happen if in fact we do go in.
I feel like you said, the end of the world as we know it. There is a little bit of that alarm out there. I'm curious. Next, I'll look it up. But that doomsday clock, it's always like in the ticking seconds before midnight. I hope we're not getting too close to that midnight hour, because there is so much great stuff that we're living through.
The way we started today's episode was talking about what a phenomenally magnificent, glorious day it was.
Glorious,
right?
Absolutely glorious. So and we are living in amazing times. I mean, if you had to pick the best time to be alive as a human, it's probably through the last 30 or 40 years, let's face it. And technology has created so much extra comfort in a particular life that you could argue that today might be the best day out of all the days that have existed to be a human. But there are a lot of challenges.
But
we should close up this episode on feeling good about where we are in the world today.
Let's do that.
Is there, I'm looking for,
I don't know. In my head, again, all I have, it's the end of the world as we know
I don't like those lyrics. I'd rather just funk it out. Just funk it out like the old Paul Thomas Anderson, like Boogie Nights type of thing, right? I'm thinking Dirk Diggler. I'm thinking Burt Reynolds. Just a lot of
Juliana
fun,
Moore,
cool polyester clothes.
Yeah. You know what? Everybody go watch Jay Kelly. Go watch George Clooney's movie.
Ooh, shout out for a movie in my business. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
And you do look like a movie star tonight, I gotta say. Very actress, leading woman kind of thing.
Yeah, not going to any parties.
Well, that is it for our second episode of 2026. We are wishing everybody a fantastic kickstart of what's going to be a great year for all of us. Let's not get too sidetracked with all the different things going on in the world, because this is going to be a good year for all of us. Please follow, download, listen, enjoy, and review. We are Plate and Ponder, Empty Nesting with
Jen and Chris Fenton.
Till next time.
Bye.
Adios.